Everyone knows that familiar phrase, in sickness and in health, but marriage vows are sometimes easier said than honored. This next couple you're about to see knows the struggle all too well, as a wife's health condition has caused a once strong relationship to deteriorate. We sent them to relationship and sex therapist Dr. Chris Donahue to intervene.
How long have you been married?
It'll be 3 years in June.
Talk to me about your own attempts at having a family.
So I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome when I was 22, which is a hormonal disorder. It causes infertility.
So then you guys meet. How does that get brought into the relationship?
I don't communicate how I feel.
So your processing emotions is, I'll feel something, I'll deal with it on my own, I don't need to bother him with it, I'll figure it out?
Or like, I want it all.
And what is your theory or process with emotions?
At a very young age, I started to just really depend on myself, my decisions, a lot of control.
So is that how you function now in the relationship, as I still make decisions that are best for me, maybe not best for us?
Oh, sure.
Because a relationship is literally the death of self and me. And the minute you hear yourself going, I gotta work on myself first, you've walked out of your marriage, psychologically.
Sure.
How's that impacted the relationship positively and negatively?
We're going to a fertility doctor and I'm on fertility meds and I respond well to them, but still not pregnant.
Talk to me about your sex life. What was that like when you first met?
We waited till marriage.
Okay.
I mean, that excitement of living together and finally getting to have sex was quite exciting.
So you went from having sex 4 to 5 times a week to how often?
Gosh, we hardly ever have sex anymore.
It got worse as we started the fertility process. It changed what sex represented for us, for sure. It feels like a chore. There's a negative connotation associated with it. It's just like, hey, it's that time of the month. We have to have sex.
I mean, the scheduling is the hardest.
So talk to me about how it's changed your marriage.
We definitely aren't as connected as we used to be.
I'd second that.
And that's unfortunate, because sex is the most powerful tool to, number one, just validate that we're an attractive sexual being to our partner.
Right.
We forget that. I like the idea of couples in some form eroticizing each other every single day. That means you look at each other in a certain way, you maybe say something. Every single day in some form you have to do something that says, you're my romantic sexual partner. Your homework over the next couple days, I want you to work on that touch and that eye contact. I want you to bring back sex and reprioritize it.
The relationship between the presence of children and the risk of divorce has been studied over the last few years, and some of the results are quite interesting. Common knowledge dictates that having children increases either the attractiveness of marriage or the cost of terminating the union, thereby reducing the risk of divorce. The new household economics theory presents children as additions to marital capital, with increase in marital capital raising the attractiveness of unions, as well as the cost of divorce and having to stay single. Based on sociological presentations, children increase the organic solidarity of unions. Children increase parents' sense of obligation in, and commitment to, the union, thereby raising marital stability. With children, it's not always rainbows and sunshine, considering the fact that children could raise marital instability. For instance, children born to very young parents who haven't had time to form strong bonds are more likely to break down the union. Also, raising children is a resource-intensive undertaking, with resources in this case referring to both time and money. The money that goes into raising children could push a family into debt, with financial issues being among the leading causes contributing to union dissolution, especially by women as outlined by the financial stress theory. The presence of children, and their constant need for attention, reduces the amount of time parents spend alone, which minimizes the opportunities to solidify their union. Children could also weaponize their relationships with either parent to get their way, especially if the parents are not speaking with a united voice, a phenomenon that massively strains a relationship. But, the baseline is, research has consistently proven that divorce is more likely for couples without children compared to those with children. In countries such as Sweden, childless women are 2 times more likely to be divorced compared to those with 1 child, with the risk of divorce for women with 2 or more children being 50% lower. The stabilizing effects of children in a union are observable even in developing countries, such as Nepal, where the risk of divorce or union dissolution drops by 50% for every child.